It's a pretty amazing thing that people keep getting married while the divorce rate remains high. Can you figure that out? Have you figured out why is it that people keep getting married, even though the divorce rate hovers around 40 to 50%, sometimes above 50%, depending on where you are in the world? It is quite the phenomenon. And in this video today, I want to talk a little bit about the psychology of marriage. Why is it that people keep getting married, even though marriages keep ending? Like more than 1 out of 2 marriages are ending. And you would think that people would stop getting married. Like people still say, I'm never getting married. I hear that all the time as a marriage coach. Yeah, you don't have to worry about me. You won't have to coach me. I'm not getting married. I hear people say things like that one was the last one. I know people, let me just put it that way, who have been married 3, 4, in some cases, 5 times. I know it's hard to believe, but there is a psychology that drives this powerful relationship that makes people want to do it again and again and again, and many people for the first time, despite seeing this extraordinary rate of divorce. Let's talk a little bit about the psychology of marriage in this video, and I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why people keep getting married. Now, when we talk about psychology, just be mindful that psychology did not begin with modern psychology in the Western world. Psychology was around long before that. In fact, many modern psychologists, up until maybe 70, 80, 100 years ago, they claimed that there was no such thing as the psyche, the invisible part of our being. The word psychology simply means the study of the soul. It comes from a 2-part word, suke or suki, logos, psychology, the study or the discourse, the understanding of this invisible part of our being that drives us and animates us and moves us. It's what signifies that we are alive, that we are living. I don't want to geek out too much on you right now, but I just want you to know there is a psychology to marriage. It drives us. It motivates us, humanly speaking. It is why people keep getting married. If this is making sense to you, drop something in the comments and let me know if that's you. Like you're one of those people who said you were never getting married. Maybe you are getting married in spite of what you have seen happening in the world of marriage and divorce. Now, it's interesting that marriage is changing in the world in this regard. The trends and how people get married, the weddings and so forth. Like it used to be that most people got married in a church. Maybe 41% of people would have their weddings in a church. Now it's down to about 22% of people get married in churches or religious settings. So most people are not getting married in churches. They're getting away from sort of religious settings in order to have their weddings. Many people are having what we now know as micro weddings. Destination weddings are a big deal. People are having much smaller weddings, though the weddings tend to be more expensive. So somewhere around $284 a head if you're having a small wedding. That is not small potatoes. There was a big dip, of course, in marriages during the pandemic, but they bounced back, and they have bounced back to the tune of about 2 million a year. Last year, that's about 6,000 weddings a day. 6,000 weddings a day, 2 million weddings in the U.S. last year. The wedding industry that, does all of the things related to weddings, like the dresses and the rings and all of those things, it is estimated to top $100 billion, technically about $105 billion by the year 2063. So it's been rising and it keeps rising. I'm giving you these statistics to help you see that marriage is not going anywhere. There's something about it that makes people want to do it, makes people want to be together, makes people want to be wed, be in a covenant commitment, in spite of interesting statistics that marriages are ending at the rate of 40 to 50, sometimes 55%. So let me give you one of the first reasons why. It is that people want connection. People want connection. They want to feel connected. They want to be connected. We are wired for connection. We were not created by God to be isolated and alone. And so what God wired into us, what he built into us, is happening to us every day. We long for connections. We long for intimate, close, loving, committed connection. We want it. It is, for lack of a better word, both spiritual and natural. And I say spiritual, you don't have to be religious. You just need to recognize that we're all spiritual beings. Even if you say, I don't have no religion, you just gave it away that you are spiritual, which means that you've been thinking about spiritual things. So it's spiritual, it's natural, it is wired into how we are made. We long for connection. The Bible says it this way, it's biblical. It's not good for the man to be alone. How about that? It's not good for the man to be alone. Of all the things that Genesis tells us in the Bible, it tells us that when God created the sun and the moon and the stars, he said it was good. When he created the animal kingdom, he said it was good. When he created humanity, he said it was good. But the condition of Adam being by himself, he said that's not good. So the fact that it wasn't good for Adam to be alone should give us a hint that people are not going to want to be alone. It is natural. It's spiritual. It's biblical to want to be together with someone. The loneliness epidemic showed us some very powerful things, is still showing us some very powerful things. That loneliness is not alone. Like, I'm not talking about you're an introvert and so you like alone time. I'm not even talking about you're one of those isolophiliacs. Yeah, that's a whole nother word. They need time and serenity. I'm talking about nobody wants to like just be alone unless there's something that's made you angry or hurt you. It makes you just want to be by yourself. And even then, the medical implications for people's lives of being alone tells us that we're not wired. We're not made to be alone. How about this? When we're alone, all sorts of things begin to happen to us from a brain hormonal perspective. Part of what, by the way, drives this desire for connection is that there are neurochemicals that are released in our brain that makes us long to be together. They're what we call bonding hormones, oxytocin, vasopressin, dopamine, these pleasure hormones. So as you know, they say, don't fight the feeling. You can't fight the feeling, right? Don't fight. It's hard to fight the feeling, baby. It's hard to fight it because you got the neurochemicals in your brain and they're released when you begin to feel this connection. You begin to feel like you're bonding when you want to bond with somebody because it's pleasing to us. So that's one of the first reasons. It's because people want connections. It's natural. It's biblical. It is spiritual. It's human. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to talk a little bit about the impact on the brain, the body, and our emotions when it comes to loneliness. But just keep in mind that nobody was really wired to be alone and lonely. We're made for relationships. Marriage aside, like you got homies, you got girlfriends, you got people, you got family you enjoy being with. Sometimes you don't, but you know, you're born into a family. Nobody just dropped you on the earth by yourself. Stop tripping. So that's how it is. We are made for connection. Let me give you a second reason. People want to feel a sense of progress in life. They want to feel a sense of progress in life. Isn't it interesting? Like when you start coming of age, you get into your 20s, let's say 30s, because now people are marrying much later. You're thinking about getting married, like your grandparents or even your parents. Like, what are you thinking? Aren't you ready to get married? Like there's this sense that you're not making progress in life if you don't want to be married. Now, interestingly, people are staying engaged longer. People are waiting longer to get engaged. People are getting married older compared to the last probably 60 years when people get married in their teens. Sometimes people get married, in their teens, in their 20s. People are getting married usually later 20s, early 30s, sometimes mid 30s, sometimes as late as 40. And so that whole matter of progression has people still moving toward marriage, is my point. This feeling of making progress in your life, because with it comes this sense of purpose. A lot of people say, I feel a sense of purpose when I'm connected to my person. Like, oh man, I could just go on and on about love ballads and the sense of feeling and how somebody loves you and you love them. And there's a reason why love ballads keep rolling too. Help me out here. This is a sense of purpose that people experience, this idea that we're making progress in life. And when you find your person, you're like, okay, belonging, a sense of belonging. That's a part of the whole progress. Like you feel like you belong with someone, that you're connected to the person that you were supposed supposed to be with. Don't worry. I know what y'all thinking. Like, yeah, I keep hearing people talk about they're supposed to be with this person, belong to this person, that other person belongs to you. I know a lot of times it gets sideways. But like I said, people keep wanting to be married. I think this is very telling. Legacy is part of, people start thinking about their legacy. Who's going to plant, if you will, in the earth as the person who will bear my genetic likeness? Want to know who's going to carry the torch for me. And so people start thinking about, I want to leave a legacy. Like, I got married wanting to leave a legacy. I mean, I love Sherry. I love my bride. 34 and a half years. Yeah, you best believe. But I was like, man, I want some kids. I want to leave somebody. I want to leave my fingerprint. The Greek word is tupos. Typewriter strikes the paper. I want to leave somebody who carries on my legacy to make a difference in the world. So it's a sense of progress. People want to feel like they're making progress in life. And so in spite of the high divorce rates, people keep on getting married. There's a sense of purpose. Can I give you one more reason? People don't want to feel lonely. I talked a little bit about loneliness, but people don't want to feel lonely. Lonely doesn't feel good. A lot of younger women are, they're frustrated because they're having to wait a long time for guys to like step up and want to get married. And there's a whole nother video, like, why aren't young men wanting to get married? Some of it is the burden that they feel to be able to provide is a significant one. I was talking to a young man a couple weeks ago. What's going on with you? What you waiting on? That was the question. Like, are you going to get married? Are you making progress in life? Yeah, I do. I want to, but I watch my parents. I don't know if I want to go through all of that. His parents didn't do very well and they stayed together, but he saw their marriage unfold and he did not want to live in a marriage like that. Did I get off track? Let me come back. Okay. They don't want to be lonely. And so people get married. Let's talk about this loneliness epidemic, because the loneliness epidemic has taught us so many things about the impact of loneliness on us physically, emotionally, argue spiritually, and in other ways. Let's talk about that. Here's some stats. When you suffer from loneliness, there's a 20% increased risk of death. A 26% increased risk of death. Cortisol levels are increased. Rates of cardiovascular disease are increased. Cognitive decline accelerates. The decline cognitively happens at a more rapid pace, and sleep patterns, sleep architecture is terribly disrupted. So people don't sleep well when they are lonely and alone. They find themselves waking up in the middle of the night, not able to sleep, waking up early, being tired during the day. Loneliness is a beast. And a lot of people are like, I just don't want to be alone. Don't want to be alone. And so they would rather get married, even though the divorce rate is high. And what's amazing to me is that we keep getting married. I'm a champion for marriage. I believe in marriage. I think it's the most dope relationship in the human experience. Don't mess with me because I love my kids too. I love my mom, right? I love my family, but I'm saying marriage is something powerful. It's something that fills so many places in your life. It makes sense then that there can be so many challenges with something so good, something so amazing. And I don't know if anybody has sullied your perspective about marriage. I hope not. Maybe you're going through some things in your marriage and you're like, man, this is for the birds. Like, you want to get out and you're like, I ain't never doing this again. I'm not going to do this again. Because when it's not good, it can be so painful. And you have my deepest empathy. Really, I mean that. Because if you're lonely in your marriage, if you got a spouse who's always angry or bitter, if you're feeling distant, if you can't communicate, if you've been wounded emotionally by your spouse, if there's been affairs, infidelity, all kinds of cheating, if there's addiction, if you married somebody and you're like, I didn't know that this was here, it can be so painful. And the reason it's so painful is because when you get married, you have an expectation that you can lean on the other person, count on the other person to be there for you. And I just want you to know that, hey, keep watching these videos because I'm trying to give you things that can help you if you've got challenges in your marriage. And then you can certainly go to my website, rodharrison.com. Come check out our challenge so that you can do some deep work in literally 5 days. We've got this intimacy reset challenge that is helping couples. So I want to invite you to that. Here's a big question for you. Are you thinking about getting married? It's that time of year where a lot of people begin planning for their weddings. Are you thinking about getting married? How are you feeling about that? What are you doing to prepare? Because while marriages keep happening and the industry, the wedding industry, if you will, keeps growing, it's making more and more money, I'm concerned that people are getting married and they're not getting prepared. Isn't it amazing? You can go to school and you can get a gazillion degrees. You can get a degree in neurobiology and rocket science, all sorts of engineering degrees, all sorts of wonderful business degrees, and all sorts of medical degrees in the medical field. You can get all of those, and nobody teaches us like how to be married. We're having these kids, and we're buying these houses, and we're saving money and investing, and people are living in homes and in marriages where they're not doing well. And I want to invite you, I want to encourage you, let's do some work with you. Come to our Intimacy Reset Challenge. We can help you grow. Check out our website, rodharrison.com. We got some wonderful resources. My Dream Marriage Method is so foundational, so core, will help you really plant your roots in a healthy way so that you know how to understand each other emotionally. You'll know how to resolve conflicts. You'll learn how to communicate in such a way that you can connect. You can actually heal old wounds, the ones you had before you got married or before you get married, ones you might have in your marriage. Yeah, you can begin to understand how you became the person you are on your way to marriage, because everybody comes into the marriage relationship with a history, baby. Everybody's got a history, a family of origin that shaped you and made you who you are. If you don't realize how it affects the way you show, it can create a lot of consternation in a marriage relationship. Marriage is awesome. Go for it. Do it. Celebrate it. Keep working at the one you're in. When it gets tough, when it gets rough, there are solutions. Just know that. There are solutions. And sometimes you got to fight through stuff. If you're getting ready to get married, my prayers are with you that you'll have an amazing and extraordinary. I hope you have a marriage like the one I got, baby. I hope you have the time of your life with your husband or your wife, because God loves marriages. All right, I'll see you in the next video.